everyone, and welcome back. Today we're diving deep into something that's totally changing the way businesses connect. Network as a service.
NAS?
Exactly, NAS. And just imagine if getting your company's internet was like signing up for Netflix.
Oh, I like that analogy.
Right? You need more bandwidth? Just click done. It's really that simple, or at least that's the promise of NAS. And we've got a ton of great insights to share with you all based on a presentation by Divesh Gupta.
Now, he's the VP of Technology at PCCW Global, right?
Yep, that's right. So he's definitely someone who knows what he's talking about. And PCCW Global is a major player in the telecom world. So we're talking real-world experience here, not just theory.
Okay, so why don't we start with the why?
Yeah.
Like, why is the telecom industry even shifting toward this whole NAS model in the first place?
Well, think about it. This isn't just some tech fantasy. This is where businesses are already heading. Gartner predicts that enterprise cloud spending will hit almost $600 billion just this year.
Wow. Yeah, that's a staggering number.
It is, and it shows that companies are really craving that same flexibility and scalability for their networks that they already have with their software and data.
Okay, that makes sense. But I'm guessing it's not as easy as just flipping a switch.
Right.
Or like, how does a whole industry as massive as telecom actually make that kind of shift to NAS? I mean, those are some pretty entrenched systems.
You're right. It's definitely a big change. Traditional telecom companies, what Gupta calls legacy incumbents, are used to those long fixed contracts.
Right, the way it's always been done.
Exactly. But the world is moving so fast these days, it's all about agility and on-demand services now. Companies like Amazon, Google.
The hyperscalers?
Yeah, exactly. Or even digital natives like Zoom and Salesforce. They're all about that instant access.
And that's where NAS comes in.
Right. It's like bringing that cloud model to the world of networking. So is PCCW Global an example of a company actually making that transition from that old school model to this new world of NAS?
They are. And they're actually a really interesting case study because they started out as a very traditional telecom company, but they've evolved into a major force in the NAS space.
Well, they certainly seem to have the infrastructure for it. I was reading about their global network. They have a presence in 135 locations and own part of 67 undersea cables.
67 undersea cables.
That's what I said. Can you imagine?
That's a lot of cable. That's a serious global reach.
It is. It's like 18 times around the globe.
Wow.
I know. It's mind-boggling. But how does that translate into actual NAS benefits for, say, a regular business?
Okay, so that massive infrastructure is actually the backbone of their NAS platform Console Connect.
Okay.
Because they have this huge network. They can offer businesses incredible flexibility. Need to connect your office in London to a cloud server in Singapore.
Which honestly sounds like something a business might actually need to do.
All the time these days.
Sure.
And with Console Connect, they can do it.
Yeah.
And you can scale your bandwidth up or down on demand, paying only for what you actually use.
So no more rigid contracts. Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal here. It's like having a network that can adapt to your business needs in real time, like breathing.
Exactly. It is. There's one thing I still don't quite get. We hear a lot about APIs, especially in software, but Gupta's presentation makes it clear that they're essential for NAS too.
APIs?
Yes. So help me connect the dots here. Why are APIs so important in this world?
Okay, so APIs are basically the engine behind that flexibility and automation we've been talking about.
Okay.
Think of them like a universal language that allows different software systems to talk to each other.
Right, I get that part. But how does that work with NAS?
So in the context of NAS, this means you can manage your entire network through software.
Really?
Yeah. You can automate task provision services and even connect to different cloud providers all with a few clicks.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about the physical cables and infrastructure. It's about using software and APIs to make the network like incredibly adaptable and easy to manage.
You got it. It's like having a virtual control panel for all your network connections.
Okay. That's starting to make more sense.
Yeah.
Can you give me like a real world example? How does this actually play out for a business?
Okay, absolutely. So Gupta talks about something called a software-defined cloud interconnect. Imagine you want to connect your company's network directly to a cloud provider like AWS.
Amazon Web Services.
Exactly. Traditionally, that would involve a lot of manual configuration and physical connections. But with a software-defined interconnect, all powered by APIs, you can make that connection with just a few clicks right from your computer.
So it's like plugging your business directly into the cloud, but with way more control and flexibility.
Exactly. And what's even cooler is that PCCW Global is making it incredibly easy to connect to all the major cloud providers like AWS Azure and Google Cloud using these dedicated private links.
So no more messing around with complex configurations.
Nope. It's all about simplicity and speed.
Okay, that's pretty impressive. So I'm guessing there's more to this story, right?
You're right on the money. There's a whole world of real-world use cases that show how NAS and APIs are changing the game for businesses.
And that's what we'll get into after a quick break.
So we've talked about what NAS is and kind of the forces behind it, but I'm curious about the impact. Like, what kind of real-world impact is this having? Are there examples of how businesses are actually using NAS to solve real problems?
Oh, absolutely. One of the coolest examples Gupta talks about is this company in Shanghai.
Okay.
They use NAS to manage their cloud backups. They back up their data to a server all the way in Singapore.
Oh, wow. It's got to be a lot of data.
Yeah, it can require a ton of bandwidth. So traditionally, they would have had to pay for a fixed amount of bandwidth, whether they were using it all or not.
Yeah, that sounds kind of wasteful, like having this huge pipe for water, but only needing a trickle.
Exactly. And that's where NAS comes in. With NAS, they can dynamically scale their bandwidth up and down whenever they need to.
Oh, that's pretty smart.
So when they're running those backups, they crank up the bandwidth to get it done quickly.
Makes sense.
And when they're not actively backing up, they can scale it back down. And that saves them a ton of money.
So it's like paying for what you use.
Exactly. And Gupta says this can reduce their egress charges. Those are the fees for sending data out by like 30%.
Wow, 30%. That's a serious chunk of change.
It is.
So that's a really clear example of how NAS can save a company money. But it sounds like there's more to it than just cost savings.
You're right. Another awesome use case is managing a hybrid cloud environment. More and more businesses are using a mix of their own data centers and multiple cloud providers like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud.
Yeah, it's like the best of both worlds, right?
It is. But it can get super messy trying to manage connections to all those different places.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And that's where those NAS APIs we were talking about really come in handy. They give you this single interface for managing all those different connections, no matter where they're going.
So instead of juggling a bunch of different tools and configurations, you can just control everything from one place.
Exactly.
So it's like having a universal remote control for your whole network across all these different environments.
It is. It really simplifies things.
Okay, that's pretty cool. But Gupta also talked a lot about the importance of standardized APIs in the whole telecom industry. Why is that so crucial for NAS to really take off?
Well, for a couple of big reasons. First, it makes life way easier for businesses. Right now, connecting to different network providers can be a total nightmare because every provider has their own proprietary systems and APIs. But if we had standardized APIs, it would be so much simpler to connect to and manage all those services. It would be like having a universal power adapter that works anywhere in the world.
Oh, I like that analogy. I travel a lot, so that would be amazing. No more digging around in my bag for the right adapter.
Right. It just works. And the second reason is that standardized APIs help drive innovation. If developers know they can create applications and services that will work with any network provider that's following the standard, it opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
So it's not just about businesses using NAS, it's about creating a whole ecosystem around it, just like we've seen with cloud computing platforms.
Exactly. And that's where the MEF Forum comes in.
Okay. What is that?
They're an industry group with over 200 members, and they're really leading the charge in developing those standardized APIs for telecom.
Oh, wow. So they're kind of creating the blueprints for a truly interoperable network of networks.
You got it. And the really encouraging thing is that it seems like this is actually gaining traction.
How so?
The MEF Forum says that more and more companies are adopting these standardized APIs. They're expecting over 100 service providers to be on board by 2025.
Okay. That's good to hear. It sounds like the industry is starting to realize the value of all this.
They are. And PCCW Global is a great example of a company that's really walking the walk. They're putting these standards into practice with their Console Connect platform.
Right. So they're not just talking about it, they're actually doing it.
Exactly. They're taking their existing infrastructure and expertise and using it to build something truly cutting edge.
So what does all this mean for, say, the average person listening to this deep dive?
That's the really exciting part. This is way bigger than just a new technology. We're talking about a completely new way of thinking about and consuming network services. And it's going to change everything.
So it's like a paradigm shift for the internet.
It is. And the potential is limitless.
Well, that's what we'll be getting into after a quick break. Okay, we're back. And ready to kind of wrap up this whole deep dive into the world of network as a service.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. My head is spinning a little bit with all these possibilities.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to take in. But I think it's important to step back for a second and consider the big picture here. We're not just talking about some new piece of technology.
Right.
This is about a fundamental change in how we even think about connectivity.
Yeah.
like as a society.
So it's bigger than just businesses saving money or getting faster internet.
Way bigger.
Yeah.
We're talking about NAS potentially reshaping entire industries. Like think about healthcare.
Okay.
Imagine doctors being able to access patient data and collaborate with specialists in real time.
Anywhere in the world.
Exactly. Because of these super fast, secure network connections, all powered by NAS.
Okay. That could really be a game changer.
It could. And I bet there are tons of other industries where this could make a huge difference.
Oh, yeah. Manufacturing, education, entertainment. Possibilities are really kind of endless.
They are. And that's why it's so important to understand these key takeaways.
Okay.
NAS is not just some tech buzzword. This is a real force that's changing the way we connect.
And it's only going to get bigger and bigger from here.
Exactly. So let's do a quick recap of what we've learned.
Okay.
First, NAS is all about bringing that cloud revolution to the world of networking.
Right. Flexibility, agility, on-demand access.
Exactly. Second, APIs are really the key ingredient that makes all of this even possible.
They're like the magic sauce?
They are. They're the language that lets all these different systems actually talk to each other and work together seamlessly.
And we can't forget about those standardized APIs.
Oh, yeah. That's going to unlock the real potential of NAS by creating this level playing field where anyone can connect and innovate.
And it sounds like the MEF forum is doing a lot of the work to make those standardized APIs a reality.
They are. They're kind of the unsung heroes of all this.
Yeah, for sure. And companies like PCCW Global are actually putting those standards into practice with their Console Connect platform.
Right. They're walking the walk.
They are. So for all the listeners out there who are maybe still trying to wrap their heads around all this, why should they care about NAS? What's the takeaway here?
Here's something to think about. As more and more of our lives and our businesses move online, how important is it to have a network that can keep up? A network that's as flexible and adaptable as the digital world itself.
It's a good question.
It is.
It's like NAS is becoming this foundation for everything else.
It is. Without a solid and agile network, all those cool technologies and apps we keep hearing about, they just won't be possible.
It's true. So it's exciting, but also a little bit daunting.
Yeah. Like, are we really ready for this?
Yeah.
A world where everything is connected and the network is like this central nervous system?
It's a big question.
It is. Yeah. But the cool thing is, we get to shape this future together.
We do.
And the more we all understand about NAS and what's driving it, the better prepared we'll be to make good decisions and navigate this new world.
So where should our listeners go from here?
Yes.
What are the best resources to learn more about NAS and all of this?
Well, I definitely recommend checking out PCCW Global's Console Connect platform.
Okay.
They've got a ton of info about their NAS offerings and how businesses are using them. And of course, the MEF Forum website is great for diving into the technical details about standardized APIs and the future of networking.
Awesome recommendations.
Yeah.
And hey, if you're feeling really ambitious, you could even try building your own NAS application using those standardized APIs. Who knows? You might create the next killer app for this whole connected world.
That's the spirit. This is a field that's ripe for innovation. And it all starts with curiosity and a willingness to learn.
So true. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of our deep dive into the world of network as a service. NAS. We hope you enjoyed the ride and that you're as excited as we are about the possibilities that lie ahead.
Definitely.
Remember, stay curious, stay informed, and keep exploring. We'll catch you next time.